Chapter 793, Surprise Visitor. Upon hearing Mr. Moon's question, Fours nearly blurted out, "Of course, better than anyone else. I'm just not too aware of the details." However, she controlled her mouth in time as she apprehensively looked at Mr. World. At the same time, Alger, Audrey, and Katlia vaguely guessed that the serious matter that had happened in Backland's East Borough was the assassination of the Aurora Orders Oracle. Based on the inferences they had before, it was done by the World. And as Lin wasn't a spectator, he wasn't able to tell from her eyes. All Fours could do was force a smile at Lin. "I'm unable to tell you the specifics. I only know that demigod-level Beyonder powers of the Storm Domain appeared back then. The Church of Storms places a great deal of attention over the matter." She didn't dare divulge the reasons on behalf of Mr. World, simply describing what she had seen. She believed that, if Mr. World was willing to reveal more, he definitely would have added on to her answer. Demigod-level Beyonder powers of the Storm Domain. Audrey and company were taken aback, as they instinctively doubted the accuracy of their theories. They had previously imagined that Leimanos travels had been created after the death of the Aurora Order Oracle. Therefore, the World had no way of borrowing Mr. Fool's demigod-level powers to record them before the assassination. The serious case involving Beyonders in East Borough has nothing to do with Mr. World. No, first glance is enough proof that it was caused by Mr. World. But why would a demigod-level Beyonder power of the Storm Domain appear? One possibility is that Leimanos travels isn't a result of this assassination, but that it originally belonged to Fours. Another possibility is that a cardinal of the Church of Storms, or a Beyonder with the corresponding sealed artifact, had delivered an attack. If it were the former, needing Mr. World to use the Beyonder powers at the demigod level implies that the Oracle was relatively powerful with the possible existence of a saint backing him. If it were the latter, to have Mr. World still be able to leave safely after such an assault implies his formidableness. Of course, the possibility can't be eliminated that he deliberately lured the Church of Storms to encounter the Aurora Orders Oracle. And while a battle broke out between demigods, he efficiently carried out an assassination during the chaos. Audrey made some guesses based on the details she had observed, and each guess implied one thing. The World had the strength, intelligence, support, and ability, making him one of the top sequence 5 Beyonders below that of demigods. How terrifying, as expected of Mr. Fool's Blessed. When I arrive at a cathedral, I should be able to figure out what happened. Alger also made a basic judgment of the situation as he sighed. All he could do was console himself. With such a helper, the exploration of the primitive island would only be easier. As for Katlia, she shared similar thoughts with Audrey. She planned on asking Queen Mystic about the situation. This owner of the Dawn had previously revealed in her letter that she would be in Backland for the time being. Demigod-level Beyonder powers of the Storm Domain. Lin repeated Miss Magician's words as his head ached. Although he enjoyed staying at home and not heading out, he still needed to head out to get some blood to drink from the hospitals. Being in a big city, he was equipped with common knowledge. Together with his elders' warnings and guidance, he knew a lot about the official organizations like the Machinery Hivemind, Mandated Punishers, and Nighthawks. He knew the influence that a serious case would bring to the area. If I don't have a good disguise while infiltrating East Borough, I might be caught by the Mandated Punishers before I even approach my targets. Although I have the identity of being part of the Church of Earth Mother and wouldn't be impounded underground or made into a test subject of sealed artifacts, this also means that my operation has failed. I might even have Leimanos travels taken away. During such times, taking the sewers would be even more dangerous. Who knows how many official Beyonders are lying in ambush over there? Lin suddenly felt that what seemed like a simple mission had turned difficult. He quickly came to a decision that he would take action in the latter half of the night. During this time, the low-class residents of East Borough would begin returning home from work. Although it was dark, the streets would be bustling. Even if the Mandated Punishers had 10 times more manpower, it was impossible to carry out any strict surveillance and single out every possible suspect. The next important step is to plan the operation to finish off the two artificial vampires without causing much of a stir. I'll have to consider a situation of an intense battle that's impossible to hide. Wait, Miss Magician had just mentioned that Lemanos Travels has a beyonder power known as teleport. The problem is resolved. Emlyn heaved a sigh of relief and chuckled. I will keep that in mind. He had said that sentence very calmly and with great confidence, as though everything was in control. This fellow Emlyn was first stumped before feeling relieved. There's a 90% chance he recalled the traveler's door in Lemanos Travels. If I hadn't obtained traveling, I definitely would have added the condition that no one is to touch that spellbook's page before the world J.M. and Sparrow. Klein scoffed silently without a word. To him, as there was only one traveler's door in Lemanos Travels, he definitely needed to use creeping hunger for his return trip to the primitive island. In that case, he might as well exploit the glove as he needed to feed a death row convict to it. He didn't want to waste it. Anyways, I've warned you. Fors didn't speak further, wishing that everything would go smoothly for Mr. Moon. At that moment, Alger turned to look at Little Sun. Are you still in the City of Silver? Yes, my recent mission is to acquaint myself with my powers and patrol the surrounding area, Derek replied honestly. Alger thought for a moment before saying, Has that shepherd elder not looked for you recently? No, Derek paused. The 6-member council seems to be busy with the former chief's mausoleum. As for what it is, I'm not privy to the information. Klein had heard Little Sun mention of the former chief of the City of Silver. It was said that he had built a mausoleum that reached deep underground before moving into it, and he hadn't appeared again. It was suspected that his attempt to switch to sequence 3 of the death pathway had failed. I wonder what happened inside the mausoleum. My spiritual intuition tells me that there's danger involved. Before Klein spoke, he heard Alger say, Take note of this matter. To investigate the former chief's mausoleum at such a critical moment means that it's something important. It might bring you danger. Okay, Derek nodded strongly. I'll do my best to figure out the specifics. The exchange continued. As the members didn't encounter much this week, this segment quickly came to an end. The Tarot Club members began teaching the Sun mysticism languages of the outside world as they learned about ancient myths from him. During this process, Audrey was a little disappointed and depressed. She had failed to buy anything or share anything this week, and her participation appeared lacking. Sigh, my life has been too quiet and stable. I have nothing to share. However, this is normal. As the daughter of one of the top 3 bankers in the kingdom, a daughter of East Chester's Earl, if I were to frequently encounter beyonder matters, experiencing alarming and exciting matters every week, that means that the present society and government structure is unable to maintain the order of the beyonder world. It would definitely result in a fundamental change to everything. When I return to Backland, my contact with the psychology alchemists will increase. I'll be able to change this situation. Audrey rapidly became optimistic, and she stood up and bade Mr. Fool farewell. Over the past half a year, she had read quite a number of useful books thanks to Susie. In terms of profundity and maturity, she was a lot better than before. Backland Northborough, 160 Birkeland Street. After ending the Tarot Club, Klein walked to the attached balcony to his bedroom, and he looked at the surrounding environment, which was filled with vegetation. With Miss Magician's attempt to rent out Lemanos Travels, there will be more of such Tarot Club transactions in the future. They might not have realized that their own beyonder powers can be sold. Once the rentals happen more frequently, someone will ultimately request someone to help record a particular power. When the time comes, I'll be able to supply beyonder powers of various domains thanks to the numerous mystical items I have. It won't be too expensive, but it's long-lasting, and it will often be in demand. I wonder who will be the first to muster their courage to seek the Fool for help, hoping that a demigod power can be recorded. This needs to be a fair exchange, and a sufficient price needs to be paid. If no one dares take that step, afraid that it's blasphemous, I can let the world be an example. After all, Mr. Fool has shown his friendliness and casualness from the beginning. As long as no mistakes are made, similar transactions can be made. Having the precedent of punishing Ma'am Hermit, I don't believe anyone will belittle the Fool as a result. They would be honored, delighted, and fearful. Klein thought about the Tarot Club as his thoughts wandered, filled with anticipation towards the trade of beyonder powers in the future. At this moment, he heard knocking at the door. "Please enter." Dwayne Dance, with his gray sideburns, turned around and said. The doorknob turned and the door opened. Butler Walter, in his white gloves, walked in and said respectfully, "Sir, Ma'am Mary from the National Atmospheric Pollution Council is here to visit you. Do you wish to meet her?" Mary Scott, the major shareholder of the Coim Company, the lady who got me to investigate her former husband's adultery. Why is she here? Don't tell me that Dwayne Dance has caught her fancy. Klein was slightly puzzled as he nodded with a smile. "It's almost tea time. Let's have it a little earlier." "All right, I will invite Ma'am Mary to the activity room on the second story." Walter easily understood his employer's intentions. Klein nodded slightly without saying anything else. With the help of his valet, Richardson, he wore his coat and went down to the second story. Soon, he saw Ma'am Mary with her tall cheekbones in the activity room. This lady was dressed in a dark blue dress with elegant accessories in an ostentatious but restrained manner. Compared to last year, she appeared more classy and with a higher temperament. "Good afternoon, ma'am. I've always been considering finding a time to visit you. I would wish to hear about your investigations on Backlund's atmospheric pollution." Klein took the initiative to speak politely. Mary replied with a smile, "Unfortunately, I didn't manage to wait for it." After exchanging a few words of pleasantries as they talked about the recent weather, Klein sat on a single-seater as he raised his porcelain teacup. "Ma'am, you seem to have something troubling you." He could tell that Mary was hesitant and deliberating. Mary laughed as she sighed. "I've heard about your experience and wisdom. I believe that you're a gentleman with excellent foresight. This is the thing. Are you interested in purchasing some of the Coim Company's shares?" "Why, ma'am, are you in trouble?" Klein asked in a staid manner. Mary shook her head. "Someone else is selling them.